Hi, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. In this video, we're going to learn the game for 2 or more players, Codenames by Czech Games Edition. Can the Spymasters communicate in code effectively to their teammates to help them identify their agents in the field before the other team does? They're going to have to use some clever word clues to do this. So join me at the table and let's learn how to play. There are 400 different code names on the 200 double-sided code name cards. You're going to want to shuffle and then choose randomly 25 of these. The rest you can return to the box. The 25 you chose you'll place in a 5x5 grid like you see here. There are rules included for 2 and 3 player games, but for a standard game like we're going to teach here, you need at least 4 players, 2 per team. One member of each team will be the Spymaster of that team. Opposing Spymasters will sit side by side on this side of the table, and their teammates will sit on the opposite side of the table, each in a group across from their Spymaster. You'll notice the words are printed in both directions so that all players can read them easily regardless of where they're sitting. If you have more than 4 players, try to divide the teams up as evenly as possible based on the number of players and their skill level. For example, if you had 7 players and the blue Spymaster was sitting here, you might assign 3 of the players to join their team, and then the remaining 2 players would join the red Spymaster seated here. Now shuffle these key cards into a face-down pile and have the Spymasters draw a single one and place it into the stand in any random orientation, ensuring that their teammates across the table can't see it. The remaining deck can be returned to the box. This key is a 5x5 grid, just like the code names that we laid on the table, and so it identifies to both Spymasters the identities of the code-named agents on the table. Blue squares represent the agent words that the blue team must guess. Red squares are the agent words for the red team. Pale squares are innocent bystanders, and the single black square is the assassin. The color, red or blue, in lights around the outside edge of the key indicates the team that will be going first, in this case, the blue team. The first team will always have 9 agents, so you see 9 blue squares on this key. The other team will always have 8. The other team, in this case red, will have 8. Looking at this key in the bottom left-hand corner, we see 2 blue squares, so the 2 Spymasters know that the cards in the same locations, Wake and Needle, are code names for agents of the blue team. And the red space here means that Tablet is a code name for one of the red team's hidden agents. The 8 blue agent tiles should be put in a stack in front of the blue Spymaster, and the 8 red agents should go in front of the red Spymaster. Now the team going first will find and flip the double agent to their color and put it into their stack. Now each Spymaster has a number of agent cards equal to the number of words they're trying to help their teammates find. Also, place the 7 bystanders and single assassin nearby as well. And that's the setup. Through the use of word clues, the 2 Spymasters will take turns trying to help their teammates identify their fellow agents hidden amongst the code names on the table. The more daring the clue, the more agents that the team might be able to find in a single turn, but the more risks that they'll face. Identify all of your team's agents first, and you win. The first team starts the game, and on a team's turn, their Spymaster should look at all of the agent words on the grid that they know are theirs, again based on the key they have in front of them. And then they try to think of a single word that relates to the meaning of some of those agents. They say that word out loud along with a number. The number represents the number of their agent names on the grid that they believe relates to the clue they are giving. Now you could give a clue related to just one word on the grid, but that's not nearly as fun. And remember, the game is a race to help your team identify all of their agents first. So the more you can identify, the better. And honestly, it's more impressive. The clue must be one word, and it can't be any of the ones already on the table. For example, I couldn't have given space as a clue in this situation. However, as the game goes on, some of the words will get covered up, and once they're no longer visible, you could then use them as a clue. You also shouldn't lead your team by saying things like, well, this clue is really out there, but just say the clue, say the number, and leave the rest to your team. Now, a little later, we will talk about some of the other rules about what kind of clues you can and can't give, but let's move on for a moment. Once the team has received the clue, they now set about trying to figure out what does it mean, and they can discuss, talk openly, and debate it. But the Spymaster should give no visual reactions. When the team is ready to make a guess, one member touches the first card they wish to choose. If they pick a card belonging to their team, even if it wasn't the agent the Spymaster intended them to guess, maybe the team thought the space clue meant Space Needle and they touched that instead. Well, as long as the code name relates to an agent of that team, you're fine. And the Spymaster covers the word with an agent card of their color. Then the team can guess another word. But what happens instead if the team touches one of the other agent's cards? Well, you've just helped your opponents get ahead, because that team gets to drop one of their agent tiles there instead. It also means the turn is over. No more guessing. If a team touches an innocent bystander, well, you cover it with one of those tiles and the turn also immediately ends. And worst case scenario, if a team member touches the space where the assassin is located, the word is covered by the assassin card and the game immediately ends, and the team that touched the assassin loses and the other team automatically wins. In other words, be careful not to give a clue that might lead your team to accidentally choose the assassin. As long as a team is guessing successfully, they can continue to touch other code names and make a total number of guesses up to the number said by the Spymaster plus 1. In other words, you can always guess one additional word beyond what the Spymaster intended you to. This is helpful because as turns go on, a team may realize what a Spymaster had intended with a previous clue. And then with this bonus guess, a team can take advantage of the new assumption. For example, on this turn, maybe the blue Spymaster said wood 2, and the team correctly guessed table and block. And then realized, wait a second, the Spymaster had said space earlier, and moon's sitting right here. The team may now guess this in an attempt to catch up or get ahead of the opposing team. And sometimes, in a desperate attempt to win, you might just risk a wild guess. Also, even if a team would be allowed to guess further, they can always stop guessing at any time. And you might do this if you're just not entirely confident what the Spymaster is intending with their clue, and you don't want to risk making a mistake. However, a team must always make at least one guess every turn. Once a turn is over, then the other team takes their turn. And so it continues until one team has all of their words covered, in which case they win, even if it's a result of the losing team accidentally picking the winning team's last word. And as mentioned, picking the assassin ends the game as well. In a game like this, it does help to have some guidelines about appropriate behavior. For example, a team should not be staring intently at the eyes of the Spymaster as they're scanning the grid trying to think up clues to give. Likewise, the Spymaster shouldn't give visual reactions. If a team guesses a word, the Spymaster shouldn't go, well, that's right, but not what I intended. Just cover it up and move on. When it comes to clues, they must be about the meaning of the word. And you can't give a clue that helps spell the word you're trying to get them to guess. For example, I couldn't say table as the clue if I was trying to get my team to guess tablet. But letters and numbers can be used as long as they relate to the meaning of the words. For example, I could say 8 as my clue and 3 as my number. If the 3 words I was trying to get my team to guess were ball, as in an 8 ball, octopus, which has 8 legs, and figure, like a figure 8. But the number of guesses can't be used as a clue itself. For example, if I was to say citrus as the clue and 8 as the number, I couldn't do that in an attempt to get them to guess lemon for citrus and octopus for the number 8. That would be invalid. The rulebook also provides some other examples of valid and invalid clues, so in the rare event of a dispute during a game, I'd suggest that you look there. That said, if an invalid clue is given, that team's turn ends immediately, and the other team's Spymaster may freely cover up any one of their own words before giving their next clue. Although you're not required to use it, some players may like having the included sand timer when they feel players are taking too long, flipping it over to encourage them not to debate endlessly over the meaning of a clue. And that's how you play Codenames. The rules also provide instructions for 2- and 3-player games if you want to play cooperatively, and you can also do that in larger groups. Basically, it provides you a way to score your performance so you can try to do better each time you play. But I'll leave that for you to discover on your own. If you have any questions about the standard game, Feel free to put them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.